Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to my channel. It's Bless Your Body and Bri. So today we have a flow for lower body focus and some fun balancing poses. So grab a yoga mat and let's get started. So to get started today, we're going to go ahead and start in child's pose. So coming down onto your mat, untucking your toes, sitting back, wide-legged child's pose, and melting all the way down to the ground. Walking your hands as far forward as they'll go, melting down onto the ground. Being intentional with your breath here. If you want, you can go ahead and open your legs a little bit more, falling deeper to the pose. Maybe bring your sit bones all the way down to the mat as we're opening up the hips today. Take a few moments here to check in with our body. As we're breathing here, we're slowly going to go ahead and let's walk our hands over to the right side. Walking them over to the right and melting down into child's pose. Feeling that side stretch along the left side of your arm. Left side of your body being stretched here. Just go ahead, walk your hands over to the left side. Feeling the stretch along the right side of your body. Sending oxygen into the body with each breath. Let's walk our hands back to center. Let's go ahead, slowly rise to table pose. Resituating your table, maybe bringing your legs in a little bit closer. Let's go ahead, we're going to take the left leg back. Just point and flex the foot here. Warming up the ankle, maybe make some circles. And switch directions. Bringing it down, hugging it in, try to bring your nose to your knee. Bringing it all the way back up, trying to extend it up towards the sky. Do a light back bend, shift your gaze forward, bring that foot up a little bit higher in the back, and down to the ground. Let's go ahead, we're going to bring the right leg back, extend it out. Let's point and flex the foot. Let's go ahead, bring our nose to our knee, tucking it in. And extending that right leg all the way back up towards the sky, shifting your gaze forward. Come back to central, bring that foot back out. Let's make some circles with the ankle. And switch directions. Let's come back to center. And from here, we're going to go ahead and stretch out our wrist. So let's turn our wrist facing forward. Let's lightly go back and forth here. Maybe bending the elbows. Let's turn the wrist facing forward, fingers facing you. Lightly rock back and forth. Takes the backs of the hands onto the ground, fingers facing you, palms up. Stretching out these wrists here. Come back to center. Let's go ahead. We're going to take the left leg back up in the sky, right arm forward. And we're actually just going to rotate back into seated child with these leg and arm extended. So left leg is back, right arm is forward. And let's take the left arm to extend it forward straight with the other arm. Melting here, feeling the stretch in the right hip. Go ahead, come back up and keep that left leg up in the back. Extend the right arm out in the front. Let's bring the right arm to the side, left leg to the side, and let's sit back into child. Breathing with each posture that we're doing today as we're really stretching out the hips, the thighs, the legs, and the lower back. Now as we come into table pose, try to keep this position with the leg and the arm, so keeping it open towards the side. Now go ahead, bring the left leg in, try to tuck it up in front of you, both arms forward, bring the left leg forward, and we're going to melt down to the ground here. Pointing that front toe. Breathing into the pose. And slowly on your next inhale, let's come up into a low lunge and just hinge forward to really stretch out that hip here. Keeping your hands on both sides of the foot. Shift your gaze slightly forward. And let's heel toe that foot out to a lizard pose. So now it's on the outside of the left hand. Really opening up that hip here. Maybe do a light rock back and forth. Now let's bring the left leg in and try to bring it into a pigeon pose. Shining that heart forward. You can either stay here or let's make a light twist. So bring the right hand on that front leg, left on the back thigh, looking over that left shoulder. Coming back to center, shining the heart forward and melting down to the ground. Maybe do a light rock back and forth here to stretch out the hips a little more. Slowly come up. And from here, you can either hold this pose or we're going to go ahead, grab this back leg with our right hand and just lightly pulse it forward and backwards here. Relaxing the foot, meeting me in table. Relaxing your body here. Taking a breath. Let's go ahead, extend the right leg back, left arm up in the front, elongating here, and let's sit back into child's pose. So the right leg is back, the left arm is in the front, and bring the right arm to meet it, stretching forward. Slowly come up, try to keep the pose with the leg up in the back, left arm in the front. Let's extend it to the side. So right leg to the side, left arm to the side, and sit back into child's pose here. Extending the right arm up in front of you. Breathing into the pose here. Slowly come up, trying to keep the position with the leg and the arm, and slowly shift it all the way forward. So then sit back with the right leg forward and melt down, hinge forward into forward fold with that right leg forward and still sitting on that left leg on the sit bone. Pointing the toe. Feeling the stretch here, melt a little more into the pose. On your next inhale, let's slowly move into a low plank. So keeping that back knee on the ground, shifting forward, stretching open these hips here. Lightly shift your gaze forward. Maybe rock forward and backwards to get that hip to open up a little more with each stretch. Let's heel toe the foot out to lizard pose, so to the outside of the right hand. And from here, let's just try to transition that front leg into a pigeon pose. Shining the heart forward. Now you can stay here if you want, or let's go ahead, take the left hand, put it in the front, take the right hand, shift it all the way around to the back, to the back thigh, creating a twist, looking over that right shoulder. Slowly come back to center. Now from here, you can take the back leg and just lightly pulse it forward and backwards. Relaxing the leg, shining the heart forward, and let's melt down to the ground. Creating a little pillow for your head. Maybe lightly rocking from side to side. Slowly come up. Push back into table. Pushing back into a downward dog. Pedaling the feet here, walking the dog. Go ahead, take the left leg up towards the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip. Let's make some hip circles. So going forward. Reverse directions. Extending the leg back up towards the sky. Three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. And if it's in your practice, let's flip the dog. Make some arm circles with that left arm. Reverse directions. Slowly come back to three-legged dog. Step it through to high lunge. Come up forward. Warrior two. Taking that foot, pointing it towards the side of the mat. Front foot facing forward. Let's reverse the warrior. Hinging forward to triangle. Maybe shift your gaze upwards towards that right hand. And you can slightly bend that front knee if you want to get deeper into it, creating more of a stretch. Bring the right hand down to the ground. Bring the left hand over to the opposite side. Push back into a downward dog. Going through our vinyasa, so high plank, low plank, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Walk the dog for a moment here. Let's go ahead, bring the right leg up towards the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip. Let's make some hip circles, so going forward. Reverse the circles. Extending it back up towards the sky. Bending the knee, opening the hip, and flipping the dog. Make some arm circles with that arm. Reverse the circles. Coming back to three-legged dog, right leg up. Step it through to high lunge, coming up. Finding your strength here. Go ahead, shift the warrior two, arms at your sides. Left leg pointed that way with your foot. Reverse the warrior. Coming back up, going into a triangle. Maybe shifting your gaze towards those upper fingers, those left fingers. And if you want, you can go ahead and bend that front knee to get more of a stretch for your hips here. Slowly coming back up. Let it come forward. Let's go ahead, we're gonna step forward into a chair pose. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Shifting them over to the right. Let's open up. Shift your gaze upwards towards those right fingers. Now you can either stay here, or if you want to go into a little bit more of an advanced pose, we're going to go into a balance. So bring your elbows, placing them on this side of your body. As I'm going to lightly lean into my arms, creating this nice balance pose here. Slowly trying to pick my feet up off the ground, keeping my face off the ground. Wherever you're at. Coming back. Bring your hands to heart center. Swan dive your arms up. Hands back down. Chair pose. Twisting over to the other side. Opening your arms up. And again, you can either stay here, or we're going to move into our balance pose. So coming, shifting over, weight into our hands. Lightly picking up our feet, trying to keep our face off the ground. Just balancing on our hands here. Wherever you're at, maybe playing with it. Coming back to center. Bring your hands to the ground. Jump back to plank through your vinyasa. As we're in upward facing dog here, just do a light twist for your back. Push into a downward dog. Go ahead, bring the left leg through. We're going to try to go into our split. So inching that foot forward, left leg forward, wherever your split is. Making sure your shoulders are forward. Breathing here. And slowly come out of the pose. Meeting me back in downward dog. Bring the right leg forward, going into your right leg split. Finding that heart forward. Wherever you're at. Whew. Coming up. Meeting me in downward dog. Staying here for a moment, relaxing the neck. Let's walk the dog a bit. Coming to hero pose. We're gonna do a variation. Now this variation can be a little bit much on your back. So if you wanna find an easier version, you can just place your hands behind you, shining the heart forward. Relaxing the neck here. So you can either stay there, or if you want to go for a little bit more intensity for the pose, I'm going to bring my hips up. I'm going to bring my right hand onto this ankle and bring my left arm around, meeting it on the left ankle. Creating this bridge here, this back bend. I'm going to bring my right arm around, creating this nice big motion. And bring it all the way back, making it fluid. Meeting it on the right ankle. And left arm all the way around. Good job. Let's just roll out our shoulders, rolling them back here for a moment. And rolling them forward. So for those who have it, we're going to work on a crow pose. So let's just do a normal variation of it first. So finding a strong planting on your hands onto the ground, kind of like gripping the ground a little bit. Bring our legs up. And I like to tuck my knees kind of like into my armpits, finding this balance here and just lightly leaning forward, picking up one leg at a time. Coming back. Relaxing for a moment. Just bring our legs forward into a forward fold. Slowly again, so let's come up. And we can do a fun variation here with the crow if you want. So kind of seating forward into a closed-legged squat. Move a little bit back towards the center of my mat. And roll back, massaging the spine here. Coming all the way forward into a crow. Rolling back again. And back into a crow. Coming to hero pose. Taking a moment to relax here. Go ahead, we're going to move into lying on your back. To stretch out the lower back, we're going to do some variations of a bridge. So you can either lay flat here and extend your hips up. This is an option. Or if you want to go into your wheel, you can. So I'm going to set myself up for the wheel, taking my fingers, placing them towards my shoulders, not pointing my elbows out, keeping them tucked in, and pushing my hips up towards the sky. Wherever you're at today. Maybe rocking back and forth. Slowly lying back onto your back. Neutralizing the spine. Taking a moment here. Lie flat, extending our legs out, extending our hands out. Let's go ahead, just hug in that left knee. Go ahead, twist it over to the right side. Looking over at the left hand. Slowly coming back to center. Take the right leg, bring it in towards your chest. Twisting it over to the left. Looking over at your right fingers. Slowly come back to center. And I want you to tuck in both your legs together. Bring your nose to your knee, trying to create the smallest little ball that you can. Holding yourself tight, squeezing yourself tight, tighter, tight as you can. And relax. coming into Savasana. As we relax our bodies, feeling the stretch that we did today and the balancing poses. Being thankful for showing up for yourself. Grateful for being here, for being present. Let's wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes. Extend your arms above your head, stretching out like you're on a stretching board. Let out your air. Roll over onto your right side to meet me in a seated position. Finding a seated pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. Thanking your body for being able to do these poses, for moving. And remember, we get to move. So it's a blessing to be able to do this with our bodies. The divine light in me recognizes and sends divine light to you. Namaste.